Hey, Solomon. Ruth Cool mentioned that we're starting a project for you, and that's all she told me. Do you have a couple minutes to talk?
Hey, Doug, sure, yeah, come on in.
Great. Well, what's the project all about?
Well, simply put, we need a system to track beverage sales. The current process, it isn't working at all.
Okay. How do we track beverage sales today?
Well, today it's done on spreadsheets. We have a product analyst that gets emails from the various beverage PMs at the end of every month. And what we need to do is automate that process to free up our time. It's really archaic and it's an incredibly time-intensive activity every month.
And PMs are...
Oh, no, sorry. PMs are product managers.
Got it. Okay. So the beverage PMs put together spreadsheets every month and send them to the product analyst. What's her name?
That's Martha Warren.
Oh, I know Martha. Good. So they send the spreadsheets to Martha, and then she has to compile them into tracking reports.
Right.
This might sound like a dumb question, but what's the problem with the report compilation being time-intensive for Martha? Is it that she doesn't have enough time to get to her other work?
Yeah, that's most of it. The problem is, it takes her about a week to get the reports put together, and we have to speed that process up so we can have the reports in the hands of the product line manager earlier.
Oh, good. Good to know. Okay. And the product line manager is you, right?
Yes.
Okay, and when it takes a week to generate a report, you're essentially flying blind that whole time. There are decisions you need to make that you can't make because you're sitting around waiting for the report.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's like you're reading my mind.
Good, I'm trying. So finding someone else to create the report every month wouldn't solve the problem because we need to speed up the report generation.
Bingo.
What if we could find a person that was just really good at generating the reports and it only took them a day? Would that work?
Well, yeah, I guess that would be better, but ideally the report would be ready for me when I walk into the office on the first of the month.
I see. So it really does sound like we need a system to do it. What about the beverage PMs? What do they say about creating their spreadsheets?
Well, it's part of their job, but they don't like it. But I think they're used to it now. Well, we don't get too many complaints.
Would you mind if I spoke with a few of them about how they do it? I need to understand how they make their spreadsheets, the efforts involved, all that kind of stuff, so we can come up with a good process.
Yeah, sure. Try Theo Barton. Yeah, he's a good one to talk to.
Great. I'll try Theo. Can you remember any of them complaining about the process?
Yeah. Theo complained a couple times when he joined the team that they did things a bit differently at his old company.
Great. I'll talk to Theo. What about the others? Is anyone frequently late sending their spreadsheets to Martha?
Yeah. Try Delia Clemens also.
Okay. I'll talk to Theo and Delia. Well, I think this is enough to get me started, but let me see if I've got the situation straight. We need a system to track beverage sales because the current process is really time-consuming. The beverage PMs put together spreadsheets which need to be compiled by Martha, but that takes about a week, and that delays the information getting into your hands, and you're unable to act until it's ready. We don't see the PM spreadsheets as a major problem at this point, but we'll try to make things as efficient as possible regardless. I think the next steps are to talk to Martha, then Theo and Delia. Is there anyone else I should speak with?
No, that seems good. I think you got all the key players.
Okay, good. One other thing is, how do you want us to interact? Do you want updates from me periodically? How would you like me to involve you?
Oh, no, thanks for asking. I hadn't thought of that. Well, I want to know what's going on. So if you could just send me, say, a weekly email keeping me abreast, I'd really appreciate it. Just let me know what the issues you're running into are, and I'll try to help you. And I definitely want to see the requirements when they're done.
You've got a deal. Expect the first update on Friday. Thanks for your time. I'll let you know how it goes.
Oh, thank you. No, you're the one solving all my...
Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Let's see what we can glean from the conversation. I'm going to go through my own notes now, and you should do the same with your notes. Let's see if you got anything I didn't, and vice versa. First, what do we know at this point? Well, obviously, Solomon sees the beverage sales reporting process as broken. I heard at least 4 problems that Solomon raised. First, that the compilation of data takes too long. Second, that the compilation of data takes too much of the product analyst's time. Product manager has complained about the process of creating spreadsheets, and another product manager sometimes is late with sending her spreadsheets to Martha. Okay, so there's 4 problems. We also gained a high-level understanding of the steps in the reporting process, at least from Solomon's perspective. And those steps go like this. Okay, first the product managers prepare the spreadsheets. Then the product managers send them to Martha at the end of each month. Then the product analyst compiles them into the report. And then the product analyst sends the report to the product line manager, who is Solomon. We've also learned Solomon's priorities for the project. First, timeliness of the monthly report information. He wants to have the final report on his desk by the time he gets to work on the first of the month. Second, efficiency. He wants to free up the product analyst's time for other work. So right there, we have two business requirements that we can use as guidance for all the other requirements we'll gather, and I'm putting them on the screen now. Okay, you'll recognize this format from earlier. I won't go through the format again, but feel free to review the earlier coursework if needed. Next, what stakeholders can we identify at this point? Well, there is certainly Solomon himself. Martha, the product analyst, is also clearly a stakeholder. Solomon also mentioned the product managers, who might be secondary to the process, but they're certainly involved. He mentioned a couple in particular that we'll want to speak with, Theo and Delia. And that's about the core of what we know at this point. You may have gathered additional details, and if so, good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. But there are also some things that we don't know, and I'm noting them down so that we remember to ask our other stakeholders about them. I'm listing those on the screen. I personally call these knowledge holes because, well, they're holes in our knowledge, and because the term sounds funny. So this should give you an idea of what a quick but good first discussion can be like. Doug definitely met his goal of gaining a high-level understanding of the project. He learned the sponsor's problems and priorities. He also learned a bit about the underlying process and who's involved in it. This discussion, however, was at a very high level. Most of our interviews as business analysts will be much more detailed, and we're going to have another scenario now with Doug interviewing Martha, the product analyst. From his discussion with Solomon, there are some knowledge holes. He wants to learn what those reports that the PM sends to Martha are like. He also wants to know what the compilation process is like, in addition to understanding the final report she prepares for Solomon. His goal in this discussion is to learn about each of those at a fairly detailed level. Again, please pay careful attention to the dialogue and take your own notes, trying to capture all the important requirements. After the scenario is over, we'll analyze the discussion and see how it went. Let's start.